We all dread maintenance, don't we? Well, I'm here today to show you 3 different techniques with the crochet hook to maintain your dreadlocks. Plus, watch till the end and you'll get to see how I do my own personal dreadlock maintenance. Hey, thanks for stopping by the channel. I'm KKLoxx and I'm here to talk to you today about dreadlock maintenance. All you need to get started are a few simple tools. I have my rat tail comb, my crochet hook, which is super tiny. I'm not even sure which size this is. I'm pretty sure it's a 0.75. If you can see, it's very, very little. Very pointy. She's got the little hook. And got my mirror and my elastics, just in case. I really don't like to use elastics because, well, they're annoying and they can cause breakage and damage your hair. But sometimes I do like to put them in. It does help with the roots. I put them, sometimes I'll just wear them for a little bit and I can tell the difference when my roots are coming in, but sometimes it leaves that dent like really close to my scalp and it just kind of changes the way that the dread starts up here. I don't really care for that. So if I do use it, it's not for long periods of time. Now you can see my hair is so extra messy. I have not maintained it in, I don't even know how long it's been, a couple weeks, but you can see I've got all these little flyaway hairs everywhere. They're just kind of all over. You can see them underneath. My roots are just really bad right now. You can see all those little hairs. I like to keep mine tidy. I try anyways. I do the best I can with the limited time that I have available to me. Method 1. I am going to pick a dread. Probably just pick this front one here. I've got some loose hairs. A lot of loose hairs actually. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my rat tail comb, which is nice and pointy. It's metal, so it's gonna be able to withstand what I'm about to do to it. So you want to make sure that you separate your sections. Anything that doesn't belong in this dread needs to come out. And I want to make sure that these little baby hairs here actually go in. Let me check this side. And none of my roots are perfect. They're just, I try to keep them as close as I can. It's a little messed up back here. Okay, so then you just want to gather, and this part right here, this is going to be needed for all 3 methods. This is just the base of the technique, the foundation of it. So I'm going to gather all the little hairs and I'm going to kind of just give it a little twist just to kind of hold them there. And then this is where method 1 comes in. So I'm going to take my crochet hook, and I like to have the hook facing down. I feel like it's easier that way. So I'd like to take it with my 2 fingers on top and my thumb on the bottom. And I use my ring finger to kind of help control the crochet hook. And we're just gonna push it in. You can see on this side, we're gonna grab the little hairs and we're gonna pull them through. We're not gonna pull all the way. I've let go of the hair, just kind of lift it up a little bit and just do that. So I'm just gonna go in, grab the little hairs, and I'm being as gentle as I can. And you can just kind of do this through the whole dread and just kind of twist a little bit, get in there, grab the hairs. And I try to be super duper gentle because I don't want breakage. And I know some people are like, oh, well, you have dread, so you don't care about breakage or anything, but I do care, because that breakage, that's where these little hairs come from. These little hairs that are definitely not the length of my hair, they will start sticking out. That's where flyaways come from. So, and this method I actually don't really use, because it is, I mean, I use it, but not exclusively. But you just want to keep going until you get all the little hairs in there. And you can see I still have some hanging down that I need to get in better. So I just kind of twist it around the hair and then go back in and grab them. Sometimes you got to go back through it a couple times to make sure that you get them all. But I try really, really hard to be gentle. Trying to keep my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. But you can see already, you know, it's sticking out now because it's tightening up. And I just kind of just go through it and get all the little hairs. And then when I'm done, I like to give it a little palm roll. And it's nice and tight. You can see it. It'll lay flat soon enough. Method 2. So same thing. Get your rat tail comb. I'm just gonna work on this one sitting right next to this one here, and make sure that only the hairs that belong in there go in there. And be careful with this part too, because you don't want to break your hair at this point either. See, I've got a couple that don't belong. Some of them are really in there, and I really don't want to break the hair trying to get at it. And then I'm going to grab the little hairs, kind of give it a twist. And now with this method, you're not going to go through it. You're going to go over it, flip your crochet hook, and then go under, over and under. We're basically just going to wrap the hairs around the dread. We're not putting the hairs in it. We're just kind of weaving around the outside. So you start from the top and you just kind of skim the top, and you can see the little hairs around it wrapped in the needle. And I'm just going to flip it over and go from the bottom. And I'm just going to go like this. And what this does, and you'll get to a point where it's just too tight and you just kind of want to get your hook out of there. And then just kind of pick up where you left off. This is my favorite method because it helps keep that cylindrical shape, and it helps tighten the dreads, and it doesn't stay tight as long. Once the hair starts to loosen up, it'll loosen. But you just keep going around it. And this works particularly good at the root. I really prefer this method at the root. So once you have, you know, you got your little hairs, and give it a little twist, and it helps hold this stuff, everything together. And just try to get right in there. And it's almost like putting a rubber band around your root without putting a rubber band around your root. And you can see, like, it does, sometimes it doesn't always get all the hairs. So I just go back around, skim off the top, pull it underneath, off the top, under, over, under. And just keep doing that. Under, over, under, over. Over, under, over, under. Just like that. All right, method 3. So for this one, I'm just going to do down the shaft of the dread. I'm not going to do this one at the root. So find one that's got, here we go. Here's some hairs that are kind of pulling, that haven't gone inside the dread. So what I want to do is I want to take the end and kind of ball it up between my fingers and just kind of get it roughed up a little bit. And you can see it's starting to knot up just a little bit there. And then I'm going to take the hook with it facing down. I'm going to push it through. And with the hair just kind of all a mess, it should hook pretty easily. But just try to get it like hooked onto the end of your crochet hook. And then we're just going to pull that through. Now it's partially still hanging out the other side, so I'm going to use method 1 to help pull it in the rest of the way. And if it's a really long piece, let's see if I have one that's really long. I don't think so. But if it's a really long piece, you would want to kind of go in from the middle and push through just a little bit. And see how like I went through it a little bit and I'm coming out a different side. And then you could just like wrap that hair or hook it however and just pull it up. If it's a lot of loose hair, that's what you're gonna need to do. It's not gonna work. Yeah, let's see if we can do this one. Okay. So I'm gonna ball this up, get it roughed up. This will also help it dread up and tighten up faster inside. So I'm just gonna go, I think I wanna go down. So I'm gonna come up just a little bit higher, or no, I wanna pull it down. So I'm gonna go in from the underneath and right up through the middle. You can see I'm in there a ways. I'm gonna make sure this hair is nice and roughed up. So I want to hook it all. So I'm gonna get it hooked up on there and pull it through. It didn't take all of it, so I'm gonna go back in, wrap it around there just a little bit, and pull it through. There we go. And now that hair went inside. And there's still a couple little stray hairs, so going back to method 1, just kind of pull them in the rest of the way there. And then another thing is to kind of grab the hair like this and pull it to one side and kind of just do the same thing and just pull it in. Bonus, I'm going to show you my method. Just a little backstory. I have watched every YouTube video on how to make dreadlocks, how to maintain dreadlocks. I have watched all of it. Okay, and everybody has a different way and everybody swears that their way is the right way. But what I found was that if I take a little bit of everybody's way, I could make my way. One method alone is just not good enough. It's just not. So this is what I do. I'm just going to grab this one here because you can see this one's got a nice little loop on the root there. So I take the dread and I find where the knot kind of just starts. So mine is here. So I'm gonna put it between my fingers, in between my knuckles here. Move all the other dreads out of the way because I don't want them getting tightened up. Make sure that there's no hairs. This one's got some. I want to get all the hairs that don't belong out of there and the hairs that do belong in there. Sometimes they just get like, that's a big chunk. Okay, I dropped my, sorry, dropped my comb. Okay, so this has got to go. Oh, that's really in there. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that was a big chunk, and that doesn't belong in this thread. Okay, that's about as good as I'm gonna get it. So now get all the little hairs, get everything up there, give it a twist, and then I'm gonna place the knot right in between my knuckles, get a good grip on it, make sure that everything else is out of the way. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this down. Do you see that? I'm gonna push this down, and this is called root rubbing. And I'm just gonna kind of go like this. And this is just going to help encourage the little hairs to knot up. It'll become fluffy. You wanna do this for maybe like 30 seconds to a minute, but don't push too hard. And if you need to rotate, you can see it's starting to get fluffy. You can also go the other way. And it also helps get loops out of the root. So see, now it's nice and fluffy. So now that I have, oops, I grabbed those hairs again. Now that I have that all nice and fluffy, I'm gonna gather the hairs again, anything that didn't just go in. I'm gonna give it a little twist, grab my crochet hook, and I start out with method 2. Start that at the root. Oh, that doesn't reach. And then once you have the root good, like I just kind of get nice and wrapped around there. You can see where the hair is kind of wrapping right in there. And I take it and I go all the way down. Just like this. And I'm just going over, under, over, under. And I can do this down the entire shaft of the dread until all the loose hairs are in. And right now, because these dreads are so young, they got a lot of loose hairs. I'm not gonna go all the way down, but I pretty much don't dread the extensions. I just work on my dreads. And so you can see that it did make a difference, but I also want to tighten this. So I'm going to twist this up here again, and now I'm going to do method 1. But I always do method 2 first. And I only showed method 1 first before method 2, even though I used method 2 first. It's just because that's like the most common method. From all the videos that I've seen, everybody uses that same one. But you just kind of want to also keep spinning the dread around because you don't want to pull everything into one spot, and you want to get the stuff that's on the other side. But I'm doing this very slowly and very gently, very controlled, as to not cause any damage. And like, I still have some hair sticking out, and I'm never gonna not have some hair sticking out, but I can at least get most of them. So now that I've showed you 3 different methods of using the crochet hook, I'm gonna go and finish my own maintenance. struggle of wearing glasses and having dreadlocks. And to do the back, it's pretty much all guesswork. I can't see anything back there. Now, I do have a solution for not being able to see your head. In my bathroom, I have my medicine cabinet, which is just your average medicine cabinet, but it's got a mirror on it and an opening door. So I hung a mirror on the opposite wall. And so now it's super awkward when you go to the bathroom, but I can see the back of my head if I move the mirror just a little bit and angle it just the right way. Then I'm able to see behind me. And I mean, it's not easy. It doesn't make it easy. It makes it easier for something that's really difficult to do. But that was how I did my dreadlocks, how I sectioned my hair to get my dreadlocks. Okay, I am going to do the back. But I'm not gonna make you watch me. But you can see like a lot of those hairs now that were all over. I mean, you saw them, they were everywhere. You can see now, yeah, there's gonna be little hairs here and there, but you can see them flyaways are gone. All that hair that was just everywhere, you can see it's gone. It's all tucked into the dread now. I would also like to touch base a little bit more on the palm rolling. Palm rolling is super important to not only your dread shape, whether it's cylindrical or misshapen or flat. It is important for getting the flyaway hairs inside. And it's just the simplest thing that you can do. You can do it daily, you can do it after your shower, you can do it while you're at work, you can do it, I wouldn't recommend it in the grocery store, but you can do it really anywhere, you know, and it's just a matter of getting your hands flat with your dread right in the middle of them and rolling up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's going to help create friction, which will help promote the knotting up of your hairs, which is what creates your dreadlock. And just do this every day, every other day, after every washing, and you'll notice that the shape of your dreads the end result will be more and more cylindrical. If you enjoyed this content and wish to see more like it, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell right in the face with your fist. That way you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching. Bye.